Hi y'all, welcome to my shop. I was doing a demo the other night on a box, and then after the demo was over I needed to sand the inside out. One thing led to another, and I thought, I got a lot of information here about sanding that I probably ought to share with you guys, so let's get started. First thing I wanted to touch on is sanders. You can get them from different sources of different quality. This one is from Harbor Freight. I used it quite a long time. It works just fine. I got this other one here from Woodturner's Wonders, which I like better. You can see the difference in size for two reasons. Number one, they weigh about the same, but this one is so much shorter, it just seems to have a lot better balance than this one, where you got a lot more weight that you're having to move around. The other thing I really like about it most of all is this one's got a paddle switch, which makes it much easier to change the speed control than this one, which tends to be very difficult to regulate the speed, and it gets kind of sticky. So I really like this one. The other option for a lot of people is an inertia sander. This is a very nice one, again from Woodturner's Wonders, and it comes with a 3-inch mandrel as well as a 2-inch mandrel for smaller bowls sanding. What's obvious to me now was not obvious when I first started turning, and that's for small bowls you need a smaller 2-inch disc. For larger bowls, a 3-inch disc, and that's just too big to get in there. And one of the things that I found is for a lot of bowls, this inertial sander I find actually sometimes easier to maneuver when you don't really need a power sander. And it's articulating, so you can change it to go straight in or based on the size of the bowl. You just kind of hold it in place, and you can just bring it around and work it. Now right now I'm only going at 600. Anyhow, I thought some of y'all might be interested in that. The other thing that works great about a power sander is you can concentrate on specific areas, so whether it's a knot or torn grain where you're dealing with the end grain, and you can just work on that one spot or the two spots very easily before you power it up. The other thing I want to mention when you are sanding on the lathe, turn the speed down to probably a third of what you were turning the bowls. If you're turning the bowl at 900, you probably don't want to sand faster than about 300. If you go too fast, you think it might give you a better surface, it heats up the laminate on your Velcro, tears up the Velcro on your mandrel. It mostly, though, it develops this little small cushion of air, so to speak, and skates across the uneven area, so you're not going to get a good sanding result. Alright, let's talk about sanding mandrels. I don't want to take those for granted. There's different vendors sell different variations of them. I start off making my own out of, but frankly it was a lot of work. Getting the hardware, turning these, getting the right foam, getting the right adhesive, getting the right Velcro, making a bunch of them. It's just easier, I think, to buy a system. I like this system by Ken Rizza that uses a roll-lock system. It uses the one mandrel, and then you spin on a different roll-lock pad with a different grit. If you're constantly taking grit on and off Velcro, that Velcro is not going to last very long. He's also got these pads that give it some extra cushioning, and they're cheaper to replace these pads than it is to replace the backer pads. These are 3 inches. He's got a system that comes with a 3-inch and comes with 2 inches as well. And again, you get multiple ones of these for different sizes. So this is a great system. I don't want to get into too much detail on abrasives, other than there are different abrasives that are available. Some people like one kind, some people like another. I'll just mention that I like the ones with the Mylar backing, because if you use a liquid sanding lubricant, they'll hold up, whereas if you've got something with a paper back, they don't hold up. Also, if you're doing really rough sanding on really hard surfaces, he's got this, there is a product called Abernet. He's got one very similar that he called Wonder Weave, but it's got holes in it, so you can blow it out, or you can take your mandrel and just knock it out like that, and a lot of the sanding dust that tends to clog it will knock out. So this outlasts regular abrasive, by a considerable amount. Even though it costs more, it can be still a very cost-effective solution. So keep that in mind. I was turning a box, and turning a deep box is a bit of a challenge. So, again, in the past I've made these mandrels. They're hard to. You gotta turn these things on the screw to make sure they run true. Ken's got a system where you can get it. I think they're 1 inch, and you can also get these separate length, I guess, mandrel holders. I don't know what you call them, but these work great for getting in the deep places with smaller, or you could, for that matter, you could put the larger ones, roll-lock adapter on here. So that works good. It certainly works better than what I started off with, which was making these things out of sticks and a little bit of cotton. These are a lot harder, more trouble to replace, and when they start getting worn, they have a tendency to scratch the bottom. So, it can work, but it just doesn't work as effectively as something like this. And if this is too large, you could also always take one of these down on your lathe to a smaller size and cut little slits, similar to this one. Matter of fact, this one actually I think will fit in there. You get it in there before you turn it on, but cut slits so it folds around. Lots of different techniques. I'll just mention. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. Sanding lubricant, I've got a complete video on some. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but if you use a sanding lubricant, and you can use, something like Howard's Feed and Wax off the shelf, or you can make your own out of mineral oil and beeswax, or you can use, walnut oil, or you can use a finish you're going to use. Heck, you can use water depending on what it is you're trying to accomplish, but it allows it to run cooler, cut better, keep the heat down for exotics. So sanding lubricant, wet sanding is definitely the way to go. A step up from that is using a similar concoction of beeswax and mineral oil with an abrasive in it, diatomaceous earth that you can get. I've got a video on using and making that stuff, a couple of videos. But this works great for doing a final finish, not a finish, but finishing the wood on the lathe. You still got to put a finish on it. This is a wax base, but it's not a permanent finish. But it gets rid of the very, very tiny little sanding scratches.